Hey everybody, Nick Green here of BehaviorFit. Today I'm going to do a little tutorial walkthrough of a blog post that I put out on Instagram yesterday. It is called the 5 Steps to Fix Your Broken Fitness Routine. So now I kind of came up with this idea, this concept that we want to fix our routines. The problem is here, swiping on the second slide, is that a lot of the times when I've been working with clients over the past several years, is that, in the face of disruption, significant environmental events, right, the pandemic that's happening now, there are certain things that take us out of our routine, or sometimes certain environmental events just make it that difficult to get something started. And so with this post, I just highlight here, again, I'm just doing a video, or is just the audio version, swiping through the slides here. The problem is we got our routine, we had one, it was disrupted, or we just don't know how to get one started. It could be even more difficult for some people out there, especially when you thought about maybe going to the gym, but now you can't because the gym is closed and you have no equipment at home. So what do? Well, we have to work with what we have now. Our world today is, we are in the new baseline right now. So, just interesting thoughts there. So that's the problem. The solution here, I have a little fun with my background here. So build a behavioral bridge to take you to your promised land. And your promised land is what you want out of a fitness program. It isn't about, working out for working out's sake, which, it is fun, but really what's the name of the game? I think it's long-term, independent, functional living, being healthy and fit for whatever it is you like to do in your day-to-day life. So problem, you're unhappy with your routine. Solution, let's build the bridge. Okay, well, how do we build the bridge? Step by step, right? So step 1, carve out, there's 5 steps. Step 1, carve out the time for that exercise time. So here, I'll go ahead and show on the screen, is that I carved out the time on my calendar. We'll see here, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon, so I hit my workout already this morning. And then on Saturdays, I have my 9 a.m. Zoom class. Again, this is recorded on April 10th. This is a couple weeks after we've all been quarantined, so these 6 a.m. classes, so not much of a disruption there. That time was already in my schedule. We can go ahead and look back at my previous weeks. You can see back in March here, that time was already in my schedule. Other things were kind of bouncing around. But now we have that time is there. So we'll go to today. So 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 9 o'clock. So the difference here with carving out that time is that everything now is from home. And I've posted recently about what are those changes you have to, make in your environment, whether it's your home, whether it's your parks, whether it's your, your garage gym. I like lifting weights, and doing CrossFit, so making sure I have my gym set up there. But you can go ahead and look at those previous posts for, ideas and everything. So again, that non-negotiable time, no matter what happens, the day-to-day work, things that are happening are going to always change. So as long as we can establish that, that time is a great first step. So you decide which days and how many days per week that you will exercise. So I picked my days, and how many days for me. When I first started CrossFit in this style of workout, way back now 6 years ago, I started off on a Monday, Thursday, Saturday schedule. Just from learning more about the fitness program and the routine and the gym and the results, I bumped up to 3 days a week. That of course makes sense with a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. And then me personally, I like to do some days in between and give my body a little bit more rest. Some people, when it comes to CrossFit training and functional fitness, some people like working out 6 days a week. For me, there's a little bit of give and take there. But again, I'm kind of getting to the weeds of all the specifics of recovery. And then, if you work out that much more, you might need to eat more depending on your goals, things like that. But anyway, carving out that time, essentially, incredibly important. All right, step 2. Next, you need to do something. So here, I left it very vague on the slide. It's that you just got to start with your preferred activities. Maybe you want to run a marathon someday, but you're not walking at all. So what are the basic steps? It's a rhetorical question, of course, but the steps are to just take small steps. But the name of the game here is do what you like. Some people at first don't like weightlifting, then they do it, they make friends, they enjoy the physiological changes, they like getting strong, then they get into it, right? So it might have not been a preferred activity to begin with, but it eventually became a preferred activity over time. So it's easier, again, you think about the building blocks here, carving out time, starting with an activity. If you are then starting with an activity you don't like, that might be harder to maintain over time. So if there's a new exercise that you want to try, how can you pair that activity with something that you enjoy? Maybe it's a friend, podcast, something like that. Then maybe this podcast. And then really the focus is on doing anything at that time. So you're going to pick out time. Sometimes it might even just be putting on the workout clothes. At least you did something new and different. Again, it's not so much about what the exact exercise behavior is. That's going to come later. The point here is setting up that time to just do something, right? If you've never, woken up at, 6 o'clock every day, or actually I get up at 4:45 or 5 o'clock to start my routine in the morning. If you don't, start and if you don't wake up that early to begin with, just doing that is new, and there's a lot of changes happening there. So there's a lot of steps here, and many people that I work with, they always say, "Oh boy, Nick, you're I just can't get up at 5, 6 o'clock to start working out. I'm not a morning person." I'm like, well, you just have to train yourself to be a morning person. That's kind of a pessimistic mindset, kind of in my view. But, if you think about it, it kind of comes back to like, what's most important to you? What do you want to accomplish in your day? Identifying those things. For me, I like to address those issues, address the working out at the beginning of the day, so then I can do, more family time and, house activities when I get home. And plus, we're all tired at the end of the day. So for me, it's been easier. I've always worked out in the morning for the past 5-6 years. So it would be actually harder for me to become not so much a morning person, but an evening person. So step 2, doing something. So we got step 1, carve out the time. Step 2, do something. Step 3, now we need to do it often, right? So it is nice that we have this, 4 days a week on my calendar here, but now the key is you just got to do something for a month. You got to do something for 2 months. You got to do something for a year. You got to do something for 2 years, and so on and so forth. So really what we're talking about here is just consistency. This is where that accountability piece with your friends, peers, if you have a coach, on your side that holds you accountable. Some people have personal trainers. I would venture to say that a big piece that's controlling that person's behavior of showing up is, or having, let me rephrase that. A key piece of having somebody work out consistently is that accountability piece of the coach, right? So you're paying somebody to be a personal trainer. You're paying for that coaching piece to help maintain that consistency, because we all know there's a social component. There are social reinforcers. There's people help us do things more often, right? And that's what it's all about. So we need to do it often because that in and of itself is a difficult skill. So again, I like to take the slow shaping process, right? Though that's the behavioral process that I'm addressing here. So shaping successive approximations, slowly getting towards our promised land, slowly getting towards that ideal kind of workout routine. And for me personally right now, I like the 4 days a week, working out every other day. I like doing things in between. So, I like working out, but I don't like it that much to do it every day. All right, step 4. Now, the behavioral piece here. We live in a wonderful age of technology that we can get observable, measurable pieces of behavior, pieces of fitness behavior. Step 4, we need to find a metric. Find a metric that is most important to our goals. So one metric that we haven't even talked about, which is kind of like a shadow metric, if you will, is attendance to the gym, waking up, right? If you're somebody that has difficulty with just getting to the gym, attendance could be the most important thing for you to work on when you're changing your fitness routine. Now that I say that out loud, I hear myself and I say, oh, well, there are no physical gyms that are open right now, but post-pandemic, there will be. Maybe for you it looks like waking up at a certain time, or stopping work at a certain time to then begin your exercise routine of getting out of your work clothes, changing into workout clothes, and then starting your program that way. So you do that. So those are kind of like the in-between behavioral metrics. But now we get to the popular things like duration, intensity, load here I have on my slide here. So duration, how long did you work out? Okay, I picked the 6 a.m. time slot. What happens next? I've never worked out at all in my life. I'm going from 0 minutes in baseline. Am I going to work out for the whole hour? Probably not. Here I have on my calendar, I have a whole hour blocked off. That's a typical group fitness, CrossFit type class. Because you got to warm up. Sometimes you have a strength piece. Sometimes you have a workout piece. So you're going to do all those together all at once. If you sign up for any type of gym, you will be doing all that. But if you're just out there walking, starting a marathon, are you going to run 26 miles out the gate, or are you going to start with 3 miles, 4 miles? So, and down the road there. So then that gets into a specific metric, which kind of alludes to my step 5. But, intensity, how quick are you doing workouts, load? Maybe you want to, I've talked about this before, if you're a strength-based athlete, if you want to, bench press your body weight, if you want to just do an air squat or a push-up for the first time, what's that intensity for you look like? Is it a body weight? Are you doing progressions? And you can start measuring those and taking data about it. Or there's something else, right? So we got to find a metric, and I just have a picture here of a young lady, on the carousel post. She just, got her phone, looking at looks like a Fitbit there. You can track, the easiest things to track are, exercise minutes, intensity minutes. Intensity minutes are often, minutes above your resting heart rate, because all of our wearables now have heart rate sensors on them. And then you look at, syncing it up on your phone and, tracking your data. And then the final, step 5 here, is that you want to set a relevant goal based on those metrics. So again, we kind of see that shaping piece, carving out time, doing something. Step 3, doing it often, finding a metrics, setting a goal. Too often what I hear is you see everything kind of all at once. Well, if you really want to run a marathon, get out there and do it. Just hammer away. And that's what you kind of see with a lot of these kind of, motivational speaker type, fitness people out there, just like, you just got to want it. You just got to get out there and do it. Well, maybe that is an intervention that works for some people, but maybe for others, you need to take a step-by-step approach. It's all about the long game here, and maybe there are individual approaches that could benefit all of us. So, step 5, that was a bit of a diatribe. So set a relevant goal. Again, we're considering what our baseline data is. That's really kind of the piece that separates a behavioral approach to fitness to many others, is that you're going to see all these data all the time on our apps, but really picking that, that key intervention piece and then deciding what's happening next really kind of sets us apart here. So, what does success look like for you today, tomorrow, next month, next year? All these data points. So do you want to walk 10 minutes a day, walk 20 minutes a day? Do you want to work out for 30 minutes? Do you want to work out for 60 minutes? Or do you want to run a 10-minute mile, an 8-minute mile, a 6-minute mile? Do you want to do 10 unbroken push-ups? Do you want to do 20 unbroken push-ups? The list goes on. There's it's really up to you of like what you want to do, and work on with your fitness routine. So the 5 steps there before we kind of wrap up with the slides. Step 1, carve out time. Step 2, you just got to do stuff. I don't care if you do backflips and hang like a monkey in a tree. As long as you're doing something, do it often. Hang like a monkey every day in the tree. Find a metric. How many trees did you climb? And set a relevant goal. I want to climb 20 trees a day. See how quick that is? See how easy that is? Right? You just got to make sure there's 20 trees. I'm looking out my window now. I got 5 trees in my backyard. Anyway, so notice now, final slide before the end. Notice that each step is separate, requires specific training, builds upon the last, and does not use the excuse unmotivated, right? We see that term a lot. I think some people are victims of labels and, I just don't feel like it. Oh, I'm unmotivated. Oh, I don't know what to do. But once you actually think about, if you have an idea of what your goal is to some degree, I want to, get out the door 3 days a week. I want to run 3 days a week. I want to run a 6-minute mile 3 days a week. See how we start breaking it down? You work backwards, then you move forwards with these behavioral pieces, build that bridge, and then you can get there. So my approach behavioral approach, this applied, pragmatic, if you will, view, allows people to take very practical steps to kind of move their fitness forward. So when you're stuck at any step or don't know how to move on, that's where coaching comes in, right? So even if we back up to, carving out time, that maybe is a skill deficit for some people. I have a digital calendar. I've been working for a long time. Some people have paper and pencil. Doesn't matter the format. But maybe some folks out there aren't as good at setting time on their calendar, making that decision. That needs to be worked on before you even get to running a marathon, right? Step 2, what could go wrong here? Do something. Well, sometimes people just don't know what to do, right? I think about fitness all the time, but others, if that I'm helping, I just need general guidance, and that's where, supports can come in there. Step 3, doing it often. Work-life balances are crazy nowadays, right? So how do you do things often when the day-to-day changes, the hour-by-hour changes? The morning news is different from the evening news. So all of these contextual variables are going to, play a big role in how well we can consistently maintain. And we have to know that going in and give ourselves a breaks and all these things. So, and then step 4, how could this go wrong? Well, maybe we don't have digital activity trackers. Maybe things kind of get synced, goofy, but we can find something. There's always some way to measure behavior, measure fitness, to allow us to make good decisions on what we're doing or not doing. And then the last step, setting goals, that kind of goes with step 4. So that's it with today's episode. So go ahead and, if you're listening to this on the podcast, go ahead, check it out on the Instagram. I put a lot of time and energy into making I like to think very cool and relevant kind of posts that are kind of teach and help others. And, maybe you have a good routine, but maybe somebody else could benefit. Please go ahead and share that with them. This will be a YouTube video, so check out the videos again. Even, I've been talking about fitness routines and staying active. Sorry, dry throat. It's cold and hot around here. So even I've been talking a lot about fitness routines. It's still a challenge to sometimes get out, content and podcasts and everything. So I appreciate your patience with everything. Again, I know taking the time out of your day is very. I feel that I've earned that in some way, so I want to respect your time again. So thank you for spending the time with me. Again, I think we're at a unique opportunity to kind of to reset and think about what's most important to us. For myself and my family, being healthy and fit and active and making good decisions on the day-to-day is very important. So if there's anything that I can do to help you on your journey or help others or help teach and train others of how to be healthy and fit, feel free to reach out. And I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe, stay away from each other for a while, and keep moving.